welcome back to another episode of That Range Life, a show sometimes about golf. That over there is my dearest good friend, Kris McEwen.
Mm-hmm.
You can follow him at Kris McEwen across the board. I'm Bill Bush at DriveRangeHeroes.com, at Range Heroes across the board as well. Go give us a follow. Of course, if you're here on YouTube with us, go down below, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified every time we post something. Maybe give us a thumbs up in advance just because you're a good supporter of fine internet content. And, as you go through the show here, leave a comment below. Let us know what's up in your world.
You probably didn't see it, but I appreciate some of the guys in the comments that hit the like button and then commented a comment for interaction.
Yeah, I did
which
see
was
that.
Appreciative.
I love it. So for the interaction, go ahead and do it, and then let us know if it was. Let us know if it's proactive. You haven't even really gotten into the episode yet. I'd love to know.
Yeah, right.
That's good. That's good. I love it. And then podcast listeners, rate, review, tell a friend, do all the good things for us. Really appreciate the support as always. All right. Something we got to pay close attention to. Get some support for Rhoback Golf apparel.
Yeah.
Go over to rhoback.com. Anything you order, if it's your first time ordering from them, 15% off with the code ThatRangeLife15. All right. You can get yourself a nice quarter zip like this.
Yeah, that's a new one, right? You just got that one.
Yeah, brand new. And I got my eye on more things. I feel like I'm getting a little out of hand with
I got my hoodie over there, but it's still a little damp. It's hang drying. Which I hadn't planned on doing. I actually wanted to dry it because, as I mentioned, it's a little big on me, but that's okay.
Yeah, guys, what you got? I will tell you, I went to the driving range in my. Why do I sound like Christopher Walken the way I'm talking about? Went to the driving range. I went to the driving range this evening with intern Grant and his friend Michael, whose birthday it is today as we're recording. Michael, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, man.
And I wore one of my Rhoback hoodies, and we got rained on. So my hoodie too is drying out, but they aren't waterproof. They're not meant to be.
No, they're not.
But I was comfortable in it.
Really nice material, though. It's my first hoodie by them, and very impressed with the material. It's nice and soft. Yeah. As you mentioned, it's not thick like one of these, like a sweatshirt. But yeah, it's a good one. They're nice.
And I don't know if people are 'tis the season. I don't know if you've been getting the emails on the Azalea collection, and they just keep adding to it.
Yes.
The Masters theme stuff, or they probably can't say that, but we'll say it. The Masters theme stuff they are posting, or I should say producing. I don't know. Everything's a post in my world.
Right.
Everything they're producing. They have the one that looks like the umbrella canopies. They have
the real subdued looking one. It's really nice.
Yeah. I like that one a lot. Then they have some simple green stated stuff, but then they have a new play on the Azalea. So it's like the Azale. I can't remember what it's called, but it's another Azalea themed print that's very good. So get something to celebrate the Masters with. That Range Life 15, 15% off your entire friggin' order.
That's right.
# crave activity. I'll tell you what.
That's right.
All right. So we got that out of the way. Kris, I think I'm going to let you take it from here. You gave everyone homework last week.
Yeah, no one did their homework, listeners / viewers. So you can still put them in the comments if you'd like. I think the questionnaire on Spotify is still open. I know most of our listeners, I can see in the metrics that it's primarily Apple podcast listeners, so they don't have that option. But anyways, nevertheless, you're going to get our opinions on this stuff. But last week, someone tweeted, give them credit again, Fairways and Fun Days at Fairways Fun Days. They tweeted a question. It said, rank these in order of priority when rating a golf course. And they were as follows. Course design, course conditioning, value for money, friendliness of staff and members, views / scenery, history of club, and clubhouse experience. So rank those in the order of priority when you're. I don't really rate golf courses per se. I will say what was good about it, what was bad about it. I don't have like an ongoing ranking like some of our pals do, but nevertheless, we thought we would save it for its own unique episode. And I know that it's Masters Week as this thing drops. Tomorrow will be the Masters, but this is much more important.
Yeah,
honestly.
absolutely. And you can only take so many fake bird sounds fed in, and
we're all excited. I love the Masters. We're all excited for it. It's going to be a really fun tournament. It looks like the weather's going to be awful, which is going to kind of a bummer. But anyways, yeah, we're all excited about it. Great. Okay. It's happening. Cool.
Oh, is that so? We're covering that's our show coverage about Masters preview,
right.
or just like, or is this you saying, don't worry about that, watch our show and weigh in with your thoughts, spend time doing that instead?
I mean, the episode will drop Wednesday. You have plenty of time. The tournament doesn't start till the next day.
Right.
And there's probably going to be all kinds of wacky weather delays anyways. So you got time.
Yeah, you got time. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but there's some tension amongst LIV and PGA players.
Well, apparently not now. Apparently they're all buddies. They're hugging and kissing and high-fiving and the whole thing. So,
yeah,
that's just a media. That's just the what do they call it on Twitter? Like trash golf media or evil golf media or something, trying to drum up some drama. It's irrelevant that one is suing others or stuff. What does that matter? Who cares?
Right.
It's just some made up thing. But anyways.
Just want to remind everyone too, it's just a bunch of super rich guys
being
more rich together. Let's not lose sight of that.
Right.
Anyway.
God bless them. Okay.
Back to the topic.
Yeah. So you wanted to go away with it and think about it and give it some thought. I don't know. Do you want to go from bottom to top in your listing and discuss why?
I have some comments to do before you go into that. One, I struggle with this because I feel like it's a combination of all of these elements for me. So to be like, what's most important gets very tough because like maybe I will tell you, we agreed on this, I think last episode, clubhouse experience is my least significant thing.
Yeah. But I appreciate a good clubhouse. I think we talked about that. The one we played the other day. Beautiful Frank Lloyd Wright inspired Prairie House clubhouse or Prairie House style clubhouse. It's gorgeous. I love the thing. Super cool. But, it doesn't really make a difference to me. It could be a shack for all I care.
Right. And I drove by, I don't know how long story, how I ended up there. I drove by another early favorite of ours, mutual favorite of ours that we've experienced together, Water's Edge.
Yeah.
Think of that clubhouse. But you know what? I enjoy a good round of it. So, point being, it's the least important to me, but where I run into trouble is like that said, you could have a certain clubhouse experience that's so tremendous where all of a sudden the value of your day, overall value was so great. And that's where I start getting like crippled by this list and how to put it together and what combines for what. I
will tell you one of the great rounds of golf, and it's a good golf course, True North. We played not the Boulder course, the other one. There's two courses there. I can't remember the name of it now. But the food at the clubhouse restaurant was like, it blew us away. It was so good. And that just kind of like, would it have ruined the round of golf? No, but it really elevated the experience when we had the sliders there were just so good.
Not unlike the breakfast sandwiches at St. Andrews when they're making it, where it's like St. Andrews, very ho-hum all the way around.
Right.
But all of a sudden it's like,
love the breakfast sandwich.
You have the choice of playing around at 8 a.m. and having a breakfast sandwich there, or playing like Highlands of Elgin, which is a lovely place. It's like, I don't know. Highlands of Elgin doesn't have that breakfast sandwich. So anyway, clubhouse experience. So I'm going to shock you and tell you this. Like everything, 5 major questions, all the sort of like I have to answer to something bits on the show, the pressure, I started giving me anxiety. I getting nervous about it. Like, there's my answer is going to be wrong and not an accurate portrayal of how I feel. So, I'm very concerned about this, but I'm going to go with clubhouse experience last. Make the day and could sell an otherwise not great golf experience I'll tell you though, there's plenty of bad golf experiences you can have, no matter how good the food and clubhouse was. I'm good. I don't need to ever go back.
Right. Again, I think it's just another one at True Link, not True Links, at the links at Lasonia. Their nachos with the brat coins.
Yeah.
So great. So good.
Well, and that clubhouse is relatively speaking, that clubhouse for your experience there is an absolute dump. And especially for the traffic they get, it's a borderline embarrassment. Right. But you're not going to go, I'm never coming back here because of this clubhouse.
100%. Yeah. It kind of fits the whole vibe though, to be honest. Like,
for sure.
It's just kind of like a whole hum building.
And but very Wisconsin.
Yes, for sure. Anyways, okay. What's next? What's second to last?
I think same thing. I think it can absolutely ruin your day, but at the same time, as long as I'm not getting harassed, I'm going to go friendliness of staff and members. Hey, I'm playing golf with my buddies.
Yeah.
I'm out here. Like, I don't really care. Don't get me wrong. I've had many experiences where I've had super toxic encounters with members at prestigious private clubs where I was doing nothing wrong. I was being hosted by a member, but it was made well aware I am not one of them and don't belong there. Like, okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah.
I've had bad starters who just like, well, I'm just glad I paid a poop ton of money to be out here today and, give this place revenue. And before I even tee off, I feel unwelcomed here and that I'm doing something wrong. And then obviously the surly course marshal who is yelling at you to pick up your pace of play when you've played through 2 groups already. And
yeah. So here's the thing I would say about that. If it's a neutral experience, it's fine, or neutral better. Like obviously we had some starters in Arizona the last couple of years we've played out there. Some of the starters were just some of the best dudes in the world. And they, one of them, his name was Steve. He was from St. Charles, Illinois. He was retired out there. And we were just like best friends with that dude, because we play 3 rounds, in 3 days. And the guy was the best. And he really kind of same with Lasonia. The starter at Lasonia is a trip. They're always like, they give you the whole spiel and it's really fun. Now, I don't know if anything can ruin a round faster than a bad experience with the I haven't had any bad experiences with the members, but I've only played 1 private course, I think. And it's the same one all the time, and I'm playing with a member and it's a chill vibe. But, it's at the end of the day, is staff experience or friendliness low on the list? Yes. But I don't know that there's anything that could ruin an experience faster and more permanent than what you described.
Yeah.
A marshal that is just won't lay off, a starter that is just, a dick about everything. That stuff lasts for sure. And that's the first thing I guarantee you that anyone says about the golf course when they talk about it was cool, except the dude that started us was, a jag. Or, when we were in Utah, I think it probably was Nevada playing, what's the Wolf Creek, long round. They tell you right off the bat, it's going to be 5.5 hours. And yet one of our groups had a marshal riding their ass hole after hole after hole. When they were standing waiting on tees, the guy was just sitting there watching them. And it was brutal, and it ruined that foursome experience.
Well, it's good. I mean, it's not like, it's like you paid a lot for it. It was only like a $35 round as well. And it only 2 of you paying it. So, oh yeah, I just got mad putting myself in that shoes. I'll never forget. That
dude was, he was, one of the guys was super upset. He carried it with him the rest of the week.
That's the worst too. Yeah. Because you're on a trip and you're 3 days later at a different course and you're like, I'm just still so shook by this miserable experience. I'm out here. It's supposed to be this great time with the dudes, blah, blah, blah. And I can't shake it. In his head leading up to the trip, that was probably the course. Oh my God, I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Brutal. Okay. What's next?
Now it starts getting tough, but I feel like, because you start getting into make or break stuff and how.
Yeah, from here, the next three or so, right? Three, are pretty close. 3 or 4. I know my number 1 is, but the rest of them kind of blend. Like they could.
One, I feel like my number 1 could be, if it's really, really bad, it just all of a sudden become like. Well, I guess that's why it'd be number 1, because if it goes really, really bad, it ruins it. Right. But same thing, so as you go on, if these things are terrible, it can trash. But I'm going to go next. While this one could easily make it a top tier experience, I'm going to go history next.
Yeah.
I think the likes of TPC Deer Run. There's some history there. Obviously, it has a pedigree, but it's not like, Don Ross was working on Bobolink, and he just needed to get away, and he went out to the Quad Cities to be on the Mississippi River, and he went and talked to the Deer family and said, I could do something with your horse farm.
Right. I have an appreciation for any and all history of any and all golf courses, because every golf course has like a story to it.
Right.
Obviously, they aren't all created equal, but I mean, even Schaumburg is like low key kind of historic. Chevy Chase is low key historic, right? But I mean, it's not like those upper echelon Rossies or Dyes or whatever.
Right. And it could still be.
But that's also, especially, I mean, it's kind of funny for us because the truly historic courses in this area are private. And they have been forever.
Right.
Ravenslow being the one exception. But so you can't really get on them for the most part, but I would say that's not a reason why I go to golf courses necessarily, but I do appreciate every story around the course.
Right, exactly. And even if it's this was Settlers Hill, and I don't know if it's technically Batavia or whatever, like this was a garbage dump at capacity, so they made it a golf course. Like, all right, cool story.
Yeah.
But I think same thing, Chicago Highlands, right, in Oak Brook, another one, former garbage dump or whatever. And they said, turn this into a private club. What am I saying? You know what? The history is bad there. I'm not going to come. I'm like, I've heard great things.
Or there's not enough history. I don't want to play it. That doesn't happen. That's not a thing.
So nobody does that. That's where history is on the list for me.
All right. So that was so out of what did we say it was 7? So that's number 5.
Okay.
Right. Number 4.
Oh man, now it's starting to get tough.
This is when it gets tough for sure.
I'm going to go views and scenery. Can they make your experience? For sure. But I think I've been fortunate enough to play Butler, and the course is cool. Plenty of complimentary things to say, but it's probably different when it was built. Was it late 60s or so, mid 60s? But you look out and you can see Oak Brook Mall. You can see the offices that are the office buildings on, I don't know if it's 22nd there or Butterfield, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's not like Sand Valley where you're looking at these beautiful dunes and things like that with this fake oil painting looking sky in the back.
Right.
Scenery is not great. Or even like Beverly when we played, and especially now with all the trees chopped out, man, when you look out on the course, especially from the peak, super cool. But when there's Midway Airport and the various things, what am I going to do? Like, you know what? I don't want to play Beverly because
of the last 4 that remain out of design, conditioning, value, and view scenery, that is certainly the number 4 in the ranking.
Yeah, I think so.
Again, it obviously I'm going to Sand Valley and I'm going back to Sand Valley. I'm going to, going back to Arizona and playing Lookout Mountain, which is gorgeous. played in Utah and Nevada last year, where for the most part, you get a lot of scenery, certainly. And there's moments where what I really like when a course from a view scenery perspective really hits home is where there is nothing anywhere.
Yeah.
Like you just can't, Forest Dunes is that way. When you're on the loop, it's just earth for miles and miles. That's all there is. There's nothing else to see. Just like, just kind of like nature, and it's super cool.
Right.
But otherwise, yeah, it doesn't bother me when we've got houses around and stuff. I mean, other than me trying to hit them.
Yeah. Guaranteed window shop. I mean,
right. Right. Okay. Number three. What's number 3? This is going to be, so now it's going to be tough for sure. We have design, conditioning, and value left.
I'm going to go design number 3.
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
Makes a huge difference. Obviously, it plays a big role in all of it. I won't speak for you, but I'm going to assume I can with this statement. Mm-hmm. I have played a lot of poorly designed golf courses that I have a lot of fun. I mean, I played a lot of poorly designed golf courses that I'll never go back to because their design is so bad and it's not any fun. But there used to be this little 9-hole executive course by my house, and the thing was, it was design wise it was a dump. There was nothing exciting about it, nothing interesting, cool, but man, it was fun.
Yeah.
You might say, well, it's not Potawatomi out in St. Charles, which I've never played, but I hear great things. It's supposed to be awesome. It's not that, so I'm not going to play. It's like, no, I had tons of fun playing it. You still had to hit golf shots. So while design can make or break your day very quickly, very easily, I don't feel like I'm setting up number 1 and number 2 for me. I don't feel like it is
above those two.
Well, and is drastic.
Yeah. I should probably put design in my list lower because I don't remember a lot of golf holes on the historic, some people can be like, oh, they'll play a course one time and they can rattle off the holes and the, different par 3s and what different par 4s did. And I can't really do that. I have to play a course more than once and then I'll get it. But I do love the Pete Dye in French Lick, it was a blast, such a unique design. The same with the Ross there. Actually, I do remember the design of the Ross pretty well because it's a quirky little fella, that golf course. But yeah, it can, again, it's like the view scenery thing. It can enhance a round. I will go play a golf course because of the design. Obviously, we've done that.
Yeah.
But it's not a prerequisite by any means to go play it for sure. Right. So I grew up playing Bonnie Dundee, so I'm not that particular about golf course design.
Which probably.
By the way, we have to go play this year.
All right, sold.
I was just talking to Riv about that.
I do want to do that real bad. I want to play also all the Chicago Forest Preserve courses. Just
that'd be fun. Oh my God.
To do it.
There's one on the south side that I used to play when I first started playing because I would go, it's right on the border of South Chicago and Indiana, or I guess East Chicago, right? In Indiana. Because I used to work in Indiana. So after work, I would just, instead of sitting in traffic, I would go to this golf course and just play because it was $20 or something. And there was no one else out there. So I could go and be so bad, hit as many shots as I wanted to over and over again. But boy, that thing is something.
It's driving me nuts. I can't think of what it's called.
Yeah, I should know.
It's not in Chicago Heights, is it?
No.
Okay.
No, it's what town is that even? I used to go to the library there in that town.
Because I think too, there's hey, Capone was a big golfer, and where did he play? And there was a course down right on the border, and I want to say it was some private club in Capone days. And I want to say it still existed in the time frame you're speaking of. I don't know if it still does or not.
Yeah.
As a forest preserve course. I'm wondering if it's the same one.
Yeah, I would imagine that was it's
history was very low on our list, but
here we are.
Yeah.
But that one, the design factor is nil. There's no, it's just a super overgrown. You're going to hit trees all day long off the box. There's nothing you can do about it.
But those can be like, I think to that executive course I was talking about, like sometimes those are so fun.
Yeah, as long as you're cool, as long as you're aware and you know that, I mean, again, it's a $20 golf course.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, dude. And to me, it's kind of funny because when I say I grew up playing Bonnie Dundee, like I didn't really know how to play golf. It was like my brothers and me screwing around. Right. But like, I really learned the game at that Southside golf course.
Right.
And so if we went and played it, I would know that course. Because I played it so much, it would be very sort of just, it's there in my brain still.
Got to get that one on the list now. I got us. Want to go over like French Lick or go over like a mission? Like, nah, we got to go play this old track. So yeah, the Chicago.
We just got to play it during the week because on the week I played it once on the weekend, and it's rough. It's a long day. It's a forest preserve course, right? So that's the clientele is not there. They're not in a hurry. They're just kind of hanging out and relaxing and drinking beers, and they don't have sleeves on their shirts, and it's a vibe. Don't get me wrong, but you're going to be there for 6 hours.
Right. All right. Well, yeah. I think I'm glad we had this talk. Make the forest preserve courses a priority for us this year.
So you've never played like George Dunn?
Have I played George Dunn? I think I've played George Dunn. I know I've played, was it Indian Boundary?
Yep.
Played that.
Played that one a lot, yeah.
I like
Highlands. Highlands, right? Is in Huffman Estates. That's a forest preserve one, I think.
Yeah, I played that one.
Yeah.
That one's pretty... Let's get to the next two because I feel like that explains a lot of them.
Right.
So the next two for me...
Okay. Design... What do we have?
So we have value
conditioning and value.
And conditioning left.
Yeah.
I'm going to go number 2, conditioning.
Man, we really aligned here. I thought we would not. Value is by far my number 1, but let's talk about conditioning for sure.
I'm not surprised we align on this at all. Yeah. I don't know if you're aware of this. We're pretty good friends and then like mesh.
I know, but you're much more of a golf course historian than I am. I play way more golf than you, so I can accept certain things easier, I think, than you do, right? Because I know I'm going to get out again in 4 days, but you might not get out again for a month. So things might be more.
But every
important.
time I get this ridicule from you, what do I say to you? Whoa. Just because I'm sitting here criticizing it the whole time doesn't mean I'm not enjoying myself. Doesn't mean.
I know.
Golf experience is in there. And I think that's what fits into this. So conditioning to value 1. We'll talk about value in a bit, but I guess both of them together here.
Yeah.
I can sit and like for me, maybe I'm not going to be able to golf again for 6 weeks, but like, let's face it, like part of the fun is being judgmental about the whole picture. And really at the end, the value being number 1 is a combination of all the things we described. And so maybe your clubhouse experience sucks, but God, the views and the scenery are just so good. And wow, what a neat piece of history. There's things that feed into it that make it hit this value.
I think value, design, and conditioning are all intertwined.
And
because that's what builds value. Design and conditioning to me is what builds value.
At least the majority of it.
Yeah.
And I think where we like, hey, all right, we're going to get to play together. When we try to pick courses, we aren't just like, this one's good enough. We go, okay, let's pick something like maybe for whatever reason, cost, tee time, availability, whatever. Right. We can't pick. We're not going to be playing Dubs Dread, the top dollar public course in the Chicagoland area.
Or what's the one in Naperville that costs $1 billion to play? Is it Naperville? It's the west suburb.
Are you thinking Bolingbrook Country Club?
No, I never played that one. No, I never played this one either. But God, Come on, you know what I'm talking about.
There's Prairie Landing.
No. Isn't it Naperville? Aurora?
Oh, might be. I'm just not hit. Oh, Mistwood?
No.
Jolie, yeah. By the way, as I'm naming all these, like, I can play that one all the time for that reason, that one for these reasons. But that's so like you and I tend to go like, all right, what's like Chevy Chase falls into it.
Schaumburg.
Schaumburg, St. Andrews. Whereas someone goes to me like, I don't get why you guys like St. Andrews so much. And you're like, because the vibe's good. Yeah. Everything on this list is pretty solid. I have a decent.
I've never played that in season, so I can't speak to conditioning, but I trust it's fine.
One, they only have, they have the money they have. They can, some years they lose it, some years they don't. So yeah, but my point in that being like finding the right combination of your playing experience. And there's really like, to me, number 8, which not 8 in the ranking, but there's an 8th one that fits in. It's like your overall, like vibe and experience.
Yeah.
It had the right vibe. I don't know. Yeah. We had a super fun time playing it, and maybe it didn't score well in any of these categories, but it was still a great time. Whereas it scores awesome in most of these categories, but it really wasn't that fun of a time. I think of like, I think I love Prairie Landing. Prairie Landing hits that for me quite a bit, where it's like, it's a little expensive, but
it's a good time.
Or the wind kicks up that day and it's super slow and of course it's playing real hard. Just beat the crap out of me. I'm not dying to go back anytime soon. You can run into that real quick. Yeah. So
I've been pretty lucky there when I've gone. Cantigny is the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, great example. That is Wheaton, Illinois. Okay. But yeah, that's a great example. You go, it's good. Everything's cool. It's $120 plus.
Right. Same with, and I will tell you that I loved, and I think, Thunderhawk way up north.
We still gotta do that one. I think
that's a good. So that is a really good. I always say I wish it was closer because it's a really good value. The conditioning is incredible, and it's just like cool vibe, chill starters, those kind of thing. Like, you've been here before? Yes, no. He'll give you the spiel. He'll make some golfy wisecracks that you can always depend on a starter to give, and then you're on your way. And it's I think it's a really, really fun golf course. So that's kind of we got to get up there too, man. It's a long drive for you. It's way up there for you.
Well, there's certain times of year plans can work out a certain way. We'll just leave it.
It's fair. All right. We kind of touched on value, I guess, which kind of is all encompassing. That's kind of an unfair, now that you mention it, it's kind of an unfair ranking, because I don't know how, I guess if you just love to set money on fire, then value doesn't come into play. You just want everything to be pristine, and you think any dollar. Yeah, I guess I could see that. Like, people would pay for conditioning, right? So if you're paying $200, you just expect it to be pristine.
There's nothing worse than when you pay one of those like premium rate rounds. Dubs Dread, one that always comes to mind.
Yeah.
Let's say you're paying full ticket for that thing, 100, and I think they do dynamic pricing.
Yeah.
I want to say full ticket on it's like $185. If not, it's like $175. Leave a comment down here. Let us know.
Adam.
And then you go out there and it's like the bunkers are trashed. The greens are like the edges are cut terribly.
Yeah, and they're pocky and whatever. Yeah.
You're like, how you missed on so many levels here, and you still charge me $185. Like, well, we're getting it.
And think about why we love ravines so much, why we love course 3 so much at Dubs, because that's where the value is. That the conditioning is better oftentimes, in my opinion, than or at least more reliable on ravines.
Yeah,
and it's more fun, and it's whatever, $70 or something.
We thoroughly enjoyed our round this past week that you and I shared, but I have to tell you, when we were doing the randomizing of selecting the golf course, the first one off was ravines, and I was disappointed.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And that's that reaction anytime you do a random choice thing. You're like, oh, but I wanted that one. Like, well, then why don't you just pick that one?
Right. Nope. I got to tell you, if we spent the summer alternating between ravines and Schaumburg, I would be completely happy about that. Sprinkling a couple others here and there, but like if those were our two go-tos, that's a good summer.
Yeah. Yeah,
honestly.
very good. Schaumburg was in tremendous shape for the time of year too.
Incredible. Yeah.
Hats off to them.
For sure. And they're letting us ride around in soggy ground with our carts and they didn't care. Like,
yeah.
God bless. The superintendent's got some confidence.
He sure does. Why I don't think we did touch on we've touched on condition a little bit, but I don't think we've gone into it. And I think one name comes to mind locally, and that is that's Harborside. You go in, it's like the infrastructure's falling apart, cart paths. It's not so bad, but there was a period of time where it was just bunker liner city all over the place, and there are another $100 around, and you're like, you have all the elements here, more or less, but you just destroyed any the value. If your condition's bad, your value is going to plummet, obviously, which is number one. So you don't even get to 1 in the order of rankings. So like conditioning. No, the reason conditioning isn't number 1 is because it tanks number 1. Otherwise, I think it would be number 1. But conditioning mixed with other things, and then you can get so conditioning. Again, I'll go to our friend St. Andrews we referenced. It's not always, you're not going to be mistaken for a country club on July 17th. It'll be fine. It'll be more than playable. So,
but it's $60 or whatever to walk the thing. It's not like,
if even,
that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's just, I don't have those expectations. You see Harborside's pricing right now, it's already $100 because I was going to go play it. Cause this is the time to go play it. Like the shoulder seasons of the golf course. Because I will say, I know it takes some hits. Both courses have their issues from a design perspective, but overall it's a fun and different type. You got wind in play, like you talked about. But it's very forgiving for the most part, big wide fairways. But at the same time, I think on Port, it's a little more targety, but anyways, to me, it's a fun round of golf, except the price is out of control.
Yeah.
It's out of control.
Sure.
Yeah. For what it delivers, like just those damn cart paths, man. You guys got to fix the cart paths.
Well, and
please.
Instead of fencing, they do the rope and pier posts. So the harbor vibe, and they're just completely out of the ground, falling over.
Right.
All right.
Right.
I mean, guys, you're charging what you're charging for your revenue. I'm sure that the tax breaks there have to be massive. Go buy yourself a couple fence post digger things, right, and fix those.
The hole diggers. Yeah. Yeah. They bank. They're banking there. They have the practice facility that's, they need to do some work on that too, to be fair, but they still have the practice facility and they're, I don't know, man.
Replace it. Hey,
they're full tee sheets. They're getting full tee sheets, so they're making their money.
While we're at it, why don't they replace some driving range mats too? Last time
that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I mean.
I just everything cracking and and then those mats are I could rip up my basement carpeting here and be just as good.
Yeah, I did. I almost did go today because they had that great little short game area, and you saw my short game during our last round. Not great, Bob. And so I was like, I'm just going to go work on those 40-yard shots because they have that great little spot there that you can do that. But I didn't make it.
I want to point out, as usual, your putting game was slightly all over the place, but
man,
the amount of putts made from long distances was quite. Actually, I'm not. No, your putting game wasn't all over the place. It was scrambling. Yeah, one putts from 18 feet.
Right. I was going to say, I don't know if I probably had 5 or 6 pars on the day. All of them were 1-putt pars. All of them were 10-foot or more putts, I would bet.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. You were putting the ball well, as they said.
That new Huntington Beach SOFT mallet putter. I knew I needed a mallet. That's what was the problem with it. I just needed a mallet.
I can't remember. You had a blade before? You're using a blade?
Yeah. Yeah. I had the Cleveland Frontline.
It's funny. Blade. It's funny how the brain works. So seeing you with that putter, it's like that revisionist history just hits your head and you're like, That's what he's always had. Or is that what do they call that, Mandela effect?
Yes. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I did have, in your defense, I did have a mallet frontline putter that I lent to my son, who then kept it. Mm-hmm. And so then I went frontline blade, struggled with it, and now I'm back to the HB Soft mallet, which I think I need that balance. Oh. I just need that weight on that thing.
I'll vouch for you. It worked out well.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. Well, do you want to make any closing comments on this topic?
No, I think it was a good breakdown, a good discussion. I would love viewers and listeners to chime in. Just give us your number one. What's your number one?
Yeah.
And why?
And why for
Make
sure.
It easy for you.
I guess before we close out real quick, pro check-ins, Akshay, T46, just earning some points. So, that's good. And Rick with the T10, that was, just good to see.
Tell you what, man.
To your point, I was thinking about how you said this. Can't explain why, but just it's better with Rick Fowler involved. Now, he's younger than you, but I feel like he's like the quiet, not quite the cool uncle, but the quiet cool uncle.
Right.
Like, Uncle Ricky came. That's awesome. He's reliable. He's dependable. Like, he's the PGA Tour's uncle.
It's kind of true. He's like the hip uncle that knows all the bands. Like they listen to Japanese Breakfast. Those kinds of uncles.
And he's not going to necessarily be the one jumping off the roof of the house with him. Like, look, I'm crazy too, kids.
No.
But he might show up and open his leather jacket and go, here's a cool tape of bands I'm listening to right now. And right. Gee, thanks, Uncle Rick.
Right. I do have in the Masters app, here are my 4 starred players, favorited players. Mm-hmm. I think one of them you'll understand, but obviously Will Zalatoris and Sahith Theegala, right? Our newly adopted Australian, Minwoo Lee, right?
Yeah.
And then another Australian, Jason Day. I want to watch Jason Day play some golf this week.
Yeah.
I'm excited for him. He's been playing really well. I just want the guy to play well.
He fits a little bit into that uncle of the PGA Tour category. Not quite as, I think, cool uncle as Rick is, but
right.
Maybe the cool older cousin that's sort of older than the rest of the cousins. Right. Like he just doesn't quite fit in generation, but everyone still likes him.
Like Rick is the cool uncle, like the hip uncle, and Jason is he's the good listener uncle. Like he's the one that shows up.
And maybe he's an in-law. He married into it.
Right. Okay. He's like me. Like I'm Uncle Chris, but they're not my nephews.
Right. Since you're giving picks, I had let's just say I got outsourced for the major pools. I don't even know what they call them, where you pick 7 players.
Right.
And you can only use them twice throughout the season. And so.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I asked the guy who commissioned this, I said, what are your rules here? Do you have to put before the Masters, you have to select your field for all 4 majors? And he said, yes. So me, I had a response from him in an hour and a half, maybe. And so I forecasted all of them and then I sent him all of them. And he's like, no, I just need the Masters. I'm like, I asked you this repeatedly.
That's right.
Which makes this a lot easier. But I'm like, at the same time, I feel like because I can only use a player twice, I sort of have to forecast this and have a game plan. So at least we have that.
Right. You got to map things out for sure.
Here are my Masters 7. And so the lowest total score, winners, whatever. So it's I have my emotional picks I'd want to have, but I couldn't do it. Minwoo hurt. I wanted to pick him a lot, but for the Masters, I'm going Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
Cam Smith.
Oh, everyone's on the Cam Smith train. I've seen this. Yeah. Okay.
He say what you will. I think he's
the Open champion. I know.
And he's got probably the clearest head about, I don't really care, live PGA Tour.
Fair.
So
it's true.
He could also be horrible.
Right.
So Cam Smith, remember too, this is a cumulative thing. Lowest. So I have Victor Hovland.
Oh, good.
good track record around Augusta National.
Yep.
I have John Rahm.
Okay.
I have Tony Finau. Xander Schauffele.
Okay.
And last but not least, Willie Zalatoris.
Oh, you went Willie Z. I love it. All right.
So it's already started where it's like I don't care about who I actually want to see win. I care about my picks.
Right.
Welcome
to gambling.
Yeah,
welcome to gambling. That's how that works.
I'll keep everybody updated on my picks the rest of the way and see how they do or don't do. They're not going to do well because that's my luck. All right. Anything to plug? I got Shaft reviews on the website this week. Go read them. That'd be great.
Yeah, their stuff may or may not drop this week. I got stuff. I need to upload it.
Listen,
and then it'll be there.
We're growing.
So keep an eye out. Hit the
click
bell. On the bell. Yeah.
For God's sakes, hit the bell. We'll tell you when it's up that way.
Right.
All right. There he is, folks. That's Chris McEwen. Don't forget to follow him at Chris McEwen everywhere. I'm Bill Bush of DriveRangeHeroes.com. Please follow me at Range Heroes. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you for watching. See you next time.